One director on the radio won't play the record till the car tell him so. I'm still on an OAR kick. Bird, now, right now. Now is that moment. I should have started the podcast in mid-sentence. That would have really hammered that joke home. That would have really made the whole thing, that would have really tied the room together. That would have, that joke really tied the podcast together. I promise you, I haven't had anything to drink yet. I swear. But I love The Big Lebowski. It's just the greatest film of all time. Let's see here. We've got a lot of conversation going on already in the podcast live chat. I love it. I was thinking this too. I want to have Will write my intros from now on because he's the best intros. They're so gracious and filled with gratitude and love. Will, you've got a talent, my friend. So good to see everybody in here. We made it through another week. Oh my goodness. It's so nice to be together, podcasting together. I believe this is the last podcast period. The last podcast without the great Frankie C. I think he returns this weekend from his long and well-deserved vacation. So for those of you missing Frankie C., he shall return. Hopefully we'll get a J-Stabs appearance. You never know. Friday night is when she likes to go out and try and pick up old homeless men. So we'll see what happens. But I'll tell you this. The celebs are running scared because we've got one celeb basically outing all the other ones and confessing that they have been paying off victims to keep them quiet, like currently, right now. And that lawyer, Tom Busby, who's been filing all the lawsuits, that guy is busy. He's writing letters, letting them all know, hey, I'm coming for you anyway. Doesn't make much of a difference who you're paying. I'm coming for you. I think there's just so many people out there that were victimized from all this stuff that I don't think it's going to matter. I think there's just like I said, so many people that Tom Busby is going to get a hold of. So we'll update you on what this celeb is saying as soon as we start the podcast. Plus, Whoopi Goldberg is caught up in some bizarre bakery controversy with Staten Island. But you never want to mix it up with people on Staten Island, first of all. That's a start. You also don't want to upset people who run bakeries because cupcakes and cookies and schvoyadel are important. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to upset those people. And when you combine a Staten Island bakery, now you don't want to get on the wrong side of that altogether. But Whoopi has. And so we'll fill you in there because probably most people have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. InfoWars sold to the Onion in one of the bright spots of 2024. I mean, no matter what kind of a year you're having, you probably loved hearing about the Onion buying InfoWars. Well, there's being held up in court. So I'll fill you in on the latest there too. Plus, right now, is your spouse cheating on you? And are they using an app that is so simple and on every single phone that you have no idea? This is the sneakiest thing I've ever heard. I'm going to alert people because I think we're going to catch some cheaters. Starbucks is making some big changes, and this marriage proposal study is fairly interesting. We're going to see how everybody feels about their marriage proposal. How do you feel about your marriage proposal? Comment below. My friends, it's a podcast. Okay, so the Diddy documentary continues with TMZ. They're outing everybody. They're making big moves. They're talking it up. They're letting everybody know what's happening. I love it. I hope you love it. Ray J is talking. It's weird how like Ray J is like at the center of everything all of a sudden. I don't know what is happening, but Ray J seems to be all over everything. The Kardashian tape. There was one other thing I feel like Ray J was a part of recently. I can't really put my finger on it, but he's doing an interview in the documentary here. Let's bring it up for the people so everybody can see. Let's make it nice and big. Get Ray J's beautiful face in there. And here's what he had to say, basically saying celebs are calling him because they're concerned that their name's going to get out there. They're paying their people to be quiet, and they want to make sure that Ray J ain't leaking stuff. Ray J.
About artists paying victims to keep their name out of it.
Do you know people who have had demands put upon them where they have paid off to keep this quiet?
Here's what I do know. People do catch and kills all day. And a catch and kill, I don't know if, of course you know, but for the regular world, somebody has the truth, somebody pays you to keep it quiet, and hopefully that money that you got paid secures your happiness while you watch the lie continue to succeed.
I want to just make sure I understand you. What you're saying is what? That you know people who have been approached by women, men, whatever, who have said, give me money and I won't talk?
Here's the other way around that, Harvey. I'll give you money, please don't talk.
You are a well-connected guy. Do you know that what you've just described, is that going on now?
Yes. They want to talk to me. They want to talk to me about what happened to them. They call me. They feel like they can trust me.
Wait a minute. Calling you for what? Calling you for what?
Because they want to tell me about certain things that happened with them and Diddy.
Ray, I want to make sure I understand this. Are these high-profile people calling you because they've had some affiliation with Diddy that they don't want to come out and they think you might be the vessel for it coming out? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And I don't even know why I just said it, but I said it, so what? Now they gotta be mad. Come get me.
Boom. Ray J dropping bombs. Come get me. I mean, he's basically saying what we've known all along, but it is nice to get that reassurance from somebody who's like at it, who's at ground zero, who's friends with Diddy, who knows all these people, you know, who's talking about people calling him up about making deals and things like that. So there's your confirmation right there that it is, you know, it's something that is happening. It's not just rumor. It's an ongoing thing. And it's something that is, you know, it's a problem because these are people that are super wealthy and can spend the money on it. The weird thing is, like, you know, he's kind of alluding to and talking about celebrities who have had encounters with Diddy who don't want that coming out. Other rappers and things. Thanks to TMZ, courtesy of TMZ. Thank you, TMZ.com, for the clip there. Obviously, huge news that needs to be shared and commented on, and that's what we're doing with it. Like I told you, Busby, and you know, he's representing over 120 of the people involved in this Diddy freak-off party situation. He has reiterated that he has sent out demand letters to celebrities asking them to show up and face their consequences. He said that he's, you know, full disclosure, he's trying to settle some cases because, again, it's entirely up to the victim if they want to settle. But it you know, a demand letter alludes to the fact that, you know, he's gonna file some lawsuits. He's got clients that want to settle, and the celebs are not even talking. You know, the demand letter is like, hey, talk up or lawsuits coming. So I find that really interesting that there are some celebrities out there that think that they can just shut this out without any sort of response whatsoever. But I've seen that Busby guy, and he ain't gonna take no shit. So I think this, again, I feel like it's another Epstein list situation, but it's all gonna come in due time. And, you know, I appreciate Ray J here, but I always have two questions with all this stuff. What's your involvement? One, you know, why should you be trusted over everybody else? And why don't you just say everything you know right now? Why don't you just talk about it? Is he scared? Is he waiting for a conviction first before he spills and tells all? We'll have to wait and see. Appreciation to TD Freelancer. big time member, 7 months in a row. Want to welcome LARP Busters, new subscriber. Welcome to the podcast there, LARP Busters. LARP Busters. There we go. That's going to be a challenge. That is going to be a little bit of a hump to get over for your old Valad. And you would have thought, hey, would you blow me? That character would have been tough to say. We haven't seen Haywood in a while in the live chat, but he has been in the comments, which I appreciate wholeheartedly. Let me see here. Get some of the comments on. Rhonda says money doesn't talk. Let's see here. Hate that guy from TMZ. He is such a douchebag, though, isn't he? He is such a doucher. I really hate him because that's how I like to dress, with just plain t-shirts, and I feel like he's ruining the plain t-shirt thing. You know, that's what I feel like. Let me see here. Let me see. Oh, Paul. See, Paul. Paul, what is happening? I think Paul and I have to mend our relationship again. Ant is MAGA friendly. So, are you saying I'm MAGA? I think I'm MAGA friendly. Was that an insult or not? I can't tell. I can't tell. Oh, because I see LARP Busters asked, what's the chat policy? Free speech or limited? No, free speech. Unless you are poking fun at me, and then we'll have to figure that out. Let's see here. Ant agrees that comedians can say whatever they want, no matter how offensive. So just say you're a comedian. Oh, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Yeah, I can't speak. It's tough. And it's Switzerland. Thank you, Rhonda. Just spitting facts, bro. Well, it is YouTube. You know what's so funny about the YouTube team? I can't tell you how many people go, fuck this podcast. I commented. Now you're deleting comments. When I promise and tell you, we have never deleted a comment in the history of our show. YouTube just hides comments like randomly. It's so, you know who does it else too? Well, Facebook does it and TikTok does it. I go to TikTok and it's like you have, 20 comments or 7 comments or 5, whatever it is. And then I go look and there's like 3 comments. And I'm like, where's the other? They said there was more. And then there's like a little tiny thing on the bottom that's like show hidden comments. And you're like, well, what the? Yeah. And then none of them are ever that bad. None of them are ever that bad. We haven't gotten this whole weird censorship-y, keep people safe thing down just yet. By the way, we're still not allowed to stream on X. Everybody talks about what a free platform that is and, a place to come and talk and, everybody can say whatever they want. Not the case, because we say whatever we want. And then we got that. And I showed it on that episode. Everybody saw it, right? Everybody in the live chat, everybody who watches the show saw it. We had a little notification that's like, you're being monitored or whatever. I forget whatever it was. You've been knocked down or whatever shit it was. And we have not been able to stream on that platform since that occurred. So, again, another case where Elon Musk could go fuck himself. Although he did drive my Dogecoin price up quite a bit. Not enough to have fuck you money, but quite a bit. Quite a bit. Doge hit 41 cents. And I'm telling you right now that 41 cents, which made me a nice little chunk of change. But I don't own a lot of it because I need Dogecoin to hit $43 million for me to have any sort of money to do anything. That's where I'm at right now. Because I'm like, said to my wife, I'm like, I have 41 cents. That's pretty good. She goes, oh, 41 cents. Can we retire? I go, no. She goes, how long until we could retire? Like $1, $2? I'm like, 43 million should do it. Gonna need it to be almost even with the dollar for our little measly amount of Dogecoin to make a difference in our bank account. Moving on over to Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi needs to stop. And I'm coming to Whoopi as a friend here, even though she does not know who I am. And should file a restraining order should I ever get close enough to talk to her. But we were talking the other day, and I've been on this little trip since the election of, this with Trump winning overwhelmingly, it was a big mandate for everybody. It was a chance for the Democrats to step back and reflect. It was a chance for, Democrats to figure out how and why their message failed. And a lot of the conclusions that are coming back are people don't want to be talked down to, not everybody on the right is, and I believe this, not everybody on the right is racist or a Nazi. Only some of them are. Just the same as some people on the left are totally batshit crazy or far too, overcorrecting the whole woke, acceptance thing. And, I start to, I'm seeing a lot of, again, and this is not just me talking. It's James Carville, who I brought up before. It's Bernie Sanders. Go back and read what Bernie Sanders wrote day after the election. It was pretty powerful. Some of the Democrats feel like they can do no wrong. And they're sitting there shocked and stunned at the results of the election and going, well, the country must be racist. Well, no, it's not. When you look at all the different ethnicities and minorities, women, go up and down the line of people who voted for Donald Trump overwhelmingly. It's your fault, Democrats. It's your fault. And I don't mean people who vote Democrat. I mean the Democratic Party. So Whoopi, again, is one of these people now that is just going to blame all her problems on the other side, right? If there's ever an issue, if there's ever a problem, well, it must be the fact that, Donald Trump is in office, or it must be the right or this or that, or all kinds of crazy, stupid shit, right? So she goes to order cupcakes from a bakery, famous bakery in Staten Island, which I don't understand, because let me tell you something. As a native New Yorker and somebody who grew up in New York City for the first 20 something years of his life before he moved to Long Island, right? And still lives in the state. I've been to Staten Island like 5 times. Nobody ever goes to Staten Island. I wouldn't go to Staten Island if you told me there was a golden cupcake with $1 million in it. I'd be like, fuck it. I'm not going over there. I don't care if I can get $1 million and in a gold. I'm not going. I'm going to go to this place that's got cupcakes just as good. What are these cupcakes? 4%, not as good as the Staten Island ones. It ain't worth it going over the Verrazano Bridge. Let me tell you right now. Anyway, no, Lindarelli, you're not wrong. Why would you eat anything from Staten Island? That's what I'm wondering too. And I live here. And I go, why did Whoopi order cupcakes from? Whoopi is in New York City. Okay? It's like the food capital of the world. Paris, New York City, Vegas, Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami. You look at all the great cultural centers of the world that have wonderful food. Staten Island's not really a part of it. Nobody ever goes, you should go to Staten Island for the cut. Little game for everybody. Call the New Yorker in your life that you know, okay? And go, I heard there is an amazing cupcake in Staten Island. If I give you the address, would you go? 99% of those people will say, absolutely not, no fucking way. 1% of those people will be batshit crazy because they're from New York. You got to be nuts to live here. They're going to be like, yeah, sure, I'll go. So I can't give it a strict 100%, but I'm fairly confident in the 90. Nobody wants to go to Staten Island. I had an aunt who lived on Staten Island. It was 20 years, in between seeing her. She's like, you grew so big. I go, you shouldn't move off of that garbage island. Feels like I shouldn't be saying that. Ron, why don't you like Vegas food? Come on, man. Vegas food is good. Or is that short for Rhonda? I'm not quite sure. My eyes are going. I can't see people's pictures anymore. Anyway, I don't want to get canceled. So Ron, however you identify, welcome. But anyway, nobody goes to Staten Island. And there is no this weird thing of, they have the best cupcakes or they have the best pizza or you got to go to Staten Island for the best burger. No. There's no fucking way. If you said the greatest pizza on the planet is in Staten Island, we would not go. We'd be like, there's just fine pizza down the block. Apparently, Whoopi ordered some cupcakes from the Holterman's Bakery on Staten Island. It's a 145-year-old bakery. So essentially, we won the war, the Revolutionary War against Britain, and Holterman's decided that pile of garbage over there is where we should start making delicious treats for everybody. And so Whoopi went to go order the cupcakes, and supposedly, according to the owner of the bakery, she said that they were having some issues with one of the some equipment in the bakery, so they didn't have cupcakes. So they told Whoopi they couldn't fulfill her order. Whoopi took this as bullshit because she says that she had sent somebody over there and they wound up selling her the cupcakes. Now, the timeline on this is very blurry, and nobody seems to give a shit enough to find out what exactly happened, because every report on this doesn't have a Whoopi called here. When did she send the person? I mean, if you're looking, if you're shooting for cupcakes and they don't have them, or they're not ready yet, or they can't guarantee it, they might tell you no. If you send somebody over an hour and a half later and they were able to get the machine up and running and get it going, maybe that's what happened. Maybe she called the day before, as I'm sure you would. And you might be saying to yourself, Ann, how could you say an hour and a half later the cupcakes work? Just in an hour. Let me tell you something. It takes you an hour and a half to get to Staten Island. And I don't care if you can see Staten Island from Brooklyn where you're standing. It still takes an hour and a half to get over that fucking Verrazano Bridge. And then you got to get off at Highland Boulevard, because there's only 2 fucking exits in that whole godforsaken garbage pile of an island. Again, talking about Staten Island. Let's not. I know I defended Tony Hinchcliffe. I'm not saying the things that he says. It's a miserable process. It's a miserable process. What I'm saying is no self-respecting New Yorker would look at that and go, oh, yeah, Whoopi. Yeah, the Whoopi's probably right to it. No, I could name you 25 cupcake stores between Whoopi and this Staten Island that are way better. And no disrespect to Holterman's, 145 years is great, but businesses survive on Staten Island because people don't leave it and visitors don't go to it. So when you open something up, people are just like, okay, it is literally an island with 2 ways off. Okay. 3 if you want to count the Staten Island ferry. That's it. There's only 3 ways off. And you're like, in the middle of New York City? That seems crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. It's batshit crazy. And what's the closest island to Staten Island? That would be Manhattan. How many ways are there off of that island? Like 4,500. You can literally, I mean, there's ferries, there's bridges, there's tunnels, okay? There's helicopters constantly leaving. People are swimming from one side of the thing to the other. It's insanity. Manhattan's 4 feet away from Staten Island, and there is 23 times more ways to get off of that fucking island. Nobody leaves Staten Island. So that's why these businesses do so well. It's like, you want to go to the good Manhattan cupcake store? Should we just go to Hollerman? Well, let's go to fucking Hollerman's. I'm not going that far. So anyway, 145 years, good for them. I'm proud of Hollerman's. It seems like a good business to have. But for whatever reason, they told Whoopi no. Now, Whoopi takes this bit of information and she accuses them of denying her because of her political views. Now, unless they said, no, you crazy leftist, that's a fucking crazy, stupid thing to say. And it's okay to feel that way, but to go on national television and say, yeah, and then she goes, I'm not going to name the place, but they serve this particular kind of cup. Well, I mean, it didn't take anybody too long to put all that together. So Whoopi calls out this bakery on The View on the air because she's butthurt because she, her candidate lost the election. And now this business is like, what the fuck? And you know what happened? The right came out again. Trump won again because people started phoning in orders and blowing this bakery away with orders to keep it going because they were afraid that because of what Whoopi said, the business was going to suffer. And that's not a crazy fear. You know, I've said this time and time again. I'm not equating myself to Whoopi Goldberg. I'm not saying this podcast is as big. Not saying when I was on the air, it was bigger than The View. That would be crazy talk. But I know what it's like to have that power and ability to say something and affect somebody's business. And that is a big deal, especially when you're dealing with a small business. It's fine to tell McDonald's food that their food sucks. They'll be just fine. If Joe Rogan and the biggest podcasts in the world and networks all said that McDonald's food is terrible, McDonald's will still be here the next day and the next month after that, right? They ain't going anywhere. But a small business, a small little, tiny little business, there's no reason to call them out. Even if they did take advantage, it's okay to be butthurt about it. Don't bring it to the airwaves. You could be having a really adversely effect on they're up at 3 a.m. making fucking cupcakes for people, So it seems like, again, I look at that and I go, people have lost their minds. Jill Holderman said at a press conference earlier that they've been flooded with orders from across the country. I'm really overwhelmed, she said. I'm so happy to have support. Just to have people come out and talk and build up my business is unbelievable. We had one person today that's donating $150 worth of donuts. They didn't even want the donuts. They're just like, here's $150. And instead, here's the thing. You know what I've learned in my life? Small business owners are the absolute best. They're just fucking wonderful people, especially the successful ones, because the successful ones maybe have made it and they're comfortable, they're living a good life or whatever it is, but they're down to earth. They've worked hard. They work hard. All small business owners do. They're always at it 24/7. They know what it's like to struggle through things. So even the successful ones never forget where they came from or how hard it is. And this woman is a real, true small business owner because she gets a donation for $150. She doesn't just put the money in her pocket. She follows through on the donation. She made $150 worth. She packed up $150 worth of donuts and brought it to the public school. She was like, fine, great. Bring it over to the public school. I'm not going to just pocket this $150. I'm going to pay it forward. That's a good small business owner. That's a really good small business owner. But Whoopi has got to get out of this whole fucking thing of like, oh, the whole world's falling apart just because, Kamala didn't win. It's like, you got to get over this. Jay Sabs and I were talking about this last episode. Joy Behar used to be hilarious. Now she just gets up and belly aches about how awful Donald Trump is every other fucking day. Sorry, secret communication there. I apologize, everybody. You weren't losing your feed. So I'm begging. I am begging the Democrats to stop blaming other people for everything and put the election, the world in perspective, You got to figure it all out. The other day, Whoopi complained. I guess somebody was talking shit, and she goes, "I'm a working person. I know what it's like to work." She said, "Do you think I would be here on The View if I didn't have to work?" I understand the point she's making and the joke she's making, but what a tone-deaf thing to say. You're making reportedly anywhere from $5 to $7 million a year. You have been one of the most wealthy and prolific performers in entertainment for like 30, 40 years. If you're still working, if Whoopi is still working because she needs the money, she has made some really bad financial decisions. I mean, I can't imagine how much Dogecoin she owns because those are mostly all my bad financial decisions was buying into crypto. But to be there and like, you think I'd have to be, at work if it's like, you're going to tell the plumber that? You're going to tell the guy who fixes the train tracks for the MTA in New York City that? You can tell the cab driver that? We're supposed to feel sorry for you, Whoopi? Like, come on, man. Give me a fucking break. This goes back to some people. And listen, we're shining the spotlight on the Democrats right now. It'll come off eventually. We'll go back to, because they're the ones who had a big loss recently. But you can't force you gotta look yourself in the mirror. You've got to look yourself in the mirror. So that's the latest from The View. That show continues to struggle. I mean, I'm telling you. I mean, I know they probably do well, but they're gonna find themselves with a MAGA. They're gonna find Brittany Mahomes on that show. One day Whoopi ain't gonna be there. It's gonna be fucking Brittany Mahomes sitting there with a View card, going, "Okay, I guess this is the thing now." Yeah. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. You did good job. There's Cuddles. Everybody here, Cuddles? Okay, she's not dead. She's here. She's alive and well. She's making it happen. She's spending all my money. Send help. I've learned that I have to be a lot more quiet now because my son, Wednesday's episode, my kids go to bed like an hour, 2 hours before the podcast. And my son goes, "I heard you talking about me last night." I go, "What? You should have been sleeping." He's like, "Nah, I was up." He's like, "What did you say about me?" I didn't want to say. I was talking about the fact that you piss all over the toilets like an animal all the time. It was kind of, But the studio is right next to the kid's bedroom here. Not enough soundproofing apparently, because he's like, "Dad, what'd you say about me?" The most hilarious thing is he has no concept of what a podcast is, so he just thinks I'm on like a Zoom call. He thinks this is like a meeting. So if I ever one day in the middle of ranting about how shitty Whoopi Goldberg is, just break out into, anyway, the TPS reports for this quarter are fantastic. He's walked into the studio and we've got to change topics quickly. We've got to change topics quickly. Oh, look at the love for Cuddles. You guys are too much. That Ted Danson money. Did Ted Danson give her money? I remember they dated. Do you remember the Ted Danson blackface thing? That was a weird time. But she was like behind it all or something. Like, didn't she like write that whole like skit of him showing up at the thing in like blackface or something like that? I don't remember what it was. That whole thing was a weird time. That movie, the movie that Whoopi and Ted Danson are in together. You remember what that's called? There's a young Will Smith in that movie. If anybody remembers what it is, it's such a weird movie. What was it? The daughter, Whoopi's daughter, went to go find her dad and discovered it was Ted Danson, and Whoopi thought it was a black guy. She thought she had asked or arranged the sperm donor to be a black guy, and it turns out it's Ted Danson. And then they wind up getting together. Does anybody remember? Does anybody know what the hell I'm talking about? Because it was a crazy movie. It was a crazy. I remember just watching that movie 1,000 times when I was younger, and I don't know why. It was just a strange, one of those weird, Was it called Whoopi and Ted Go for Bagels? Was that the name of the movie, or are you responding to somebody else there, Robin? I'm not quite sure. It was Whoopi and Ted Whoopi and Ted's Adventures Getting Cupcakes in Staten Island, I think was the name of the movie, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't it weird how Ted Danson never really had a great movie career, but the guy's like unstoppable on television? He's just one of those dudes that is like, he can do whatever he wants on TV. Film, not so much. Although I guess 3 Men and a Baby was a big hit. If 3 Men and a Baby came out right now, some liberal woman would be like, "Oh, I get it. So women don't need to raise kids at all. Now we got to have not one, not two, but 3 white men raise a baby." That's exactly what a liberal Karen would say right now if 3 Men and a Baby came out. And that was an adorable picture. What happened? Can we go back to the time when people used to call movies pictures? What a good picture that was, my grandmother. What a good picture that was. You know what I did? I made your father. That's how she used to talk to my mom. You know what your father did? Now my mom says the same shit. My grandma would be like, "I made your father take me to the movies so we could see that new picture." Made in America. Laura, you are good. You are good. 2 seconds better than Neil, by the way, for those of you who are wondering. Who's the quicker draw, Laura or Neil? It would be Laura. Yeah, go see Made in America. What a weird, bizarre, strange movie that was. It was good. It was good, though. I had the biggest crush on, what's her name? Hold on. I'm going to get her name here. Nia Long. Oh, my God, did I have a huge crush on Nia Long. And Will Smith, what's crazy about this is Will Smith was like the 6th lead nobody and then went on to become the biggest star in the world, you know? Anyway, let's go over to InfoWars. I thought this was a fake story when I first saw it, but, you know, Alex Jones went bankrupt because he had to pay the Sandy Hook parents like $1 billion or whatever they settled, whatever the settlement was. So he goes, "Oh, I'm bankrupt." So the judge goes, "Oh, all right, we'll just liquidate all your shit. You own InfoWars, it's up for sale." So they put it up for auction, and some bullshit shell company who runs like I think it's the company who he said, because all these asshole podcasters have to sell some fucking vitamin bullshit. Right? The day I sell you, Maxolife or Aurelia, whatever, to get your, if I sell you something to make your wiener a little harder, that's just because it's a product that I use and need and get delivered to you. But if I'm ever selling you on something that's going to enhance your concentration, unsubscribe from the podcast, okay? Because I've sold out and lost my fucking mind. All these people, "Oh, this is gonna, oh, we got this, it's gonna enhance your left brain ventricle." Go fuck off. So anyway, the company that he had, because all these guys have those vitamin companies now, Vitaceuticals they call them, is the shittiest thing ever. They were the ones who were like putting a bid for it, and the only other people that put in a bid was The Onion, the satirical news site. The Onion, turns out, was getting funded by the parents of the Sandy Hook victims, which is the most gorgeous and wonderful turn of events you could ever hear of. Like, the Onion goes, "Maybe we should buy InfoWars because that would be the prank of all pranks." And then these poor people who lost their innocent children and then had to suffer through asshole fuckface Alex Jones for the next 10, 15 years go, "That's hilarious. Would you like money? Would you like us to help you? We'll help you buy the Alex Jones site with some of the Alex Jones money that we got," which is amazing. Well, Alex Jones went on X and said that there was a bullshit thing and it was it was supposed to be an open bidding thing and it became a closed bidding thing and they can't do that. A judge has actually ruled in his favor just today, basically saying, "We don't know what happened, but we're going to stop this transaction from going through until we can gather everything together." So we'll see what happens. Right now, it's one side fighting the other, and we'll figure it out, and we'll see what transpires from it. But Alex Jones calling the Onion elite Connecticut Democrats was maybe the funniest thing I've heard since I heard that the Onion was buying InfoWars, because it's just a bunch of satirical idiots that started that site. I know they're owned by like a big thing now, but I mean, if you can appreciate the brilliance behind that move, then I have no room for you in my life. You know, not that I had room for Alex Jones at this point anyway. I can't stop thinking of every time Frank does the Alex Jones impression. That's like the frogs are turning you gay. It's so good. It is a good impression. Oops, sorry about that. And I know, and you know, it's funny because somebody wrote me and was like, "This is a loss for free speech, isn't it? They're just turning Alex Jones into Alex Jones is a fucking asshole." There's freedom of speech, but there's also defamation. There's also libel. Like, you know, there's rules to it. You can't just ruin other people's lives with your words. You're not free to do that part of it. So, yes, I don't like comedians or people who use free speech to be silenced. But when you act like Alex Jones did, you have found the exception to the rule. Is your spouse cheating on you? Is your spouse cheating on you right now at this very moment? This is some sneaky ass shit. Because when I read, you know, is your spouse cheating on you with this app? I thought, oh, is this like a secret app with like a password that people might not know? Or maybe it's like disguised. It's like a text messaging app that's disguised as like a, you know, phishing app or something crazy like that. So men can do shitty stuff to women. I know women cheat too, but men are the shittier version. Come on. Let's not pretend like we're not terrible people. So go to find out. It's an app that is basically on everybody's phone. I think they're on Samsung phones too, non-iPhones. It's definitely on the iPhone. It's the Note app. You know, the little yellow Notes app? People are using that to carry on an affair. Here's how they're doing it. And I didn't even know this because I'm using the app this same exact way. Only difference is I'm using it with my wife. We have our little shopping list, and whenever we need stuff, we put it on there. That list, that particular note is shared between the two of us. So if Cuddles writes something, it shows up on my phone automatically. If I write something, it shows up on her phone automatically. So people, instead of text messaging, right, because that's like a permanent thing. If you text somebody, then they're a contact in your thing and all this jazz. But if you share a note with them, you can write text, you can paste pictures in the Notes app, you can do all the stuff, and then you could just delete it all. You just boop, delete it all. So people are sharing the Notes app with the person they're cheating with, and that's how they're communicating. And then I guess when they're done with the conversation, they just delete everything. And their spouse is none the wiser. That's fucked up. That is fucked up. We do put we do put that is on the shopping list. You know, it was weird. Before we got my son an Apple Watch, he used to, you know, come home. Like if I wasn't here, he would come home, and on the days that he would come home where I wasn't home at that time, he would jump on my iPad and text my wife from like my text account, "Mom, I'm home." And then like we realized we had a lot of conversation, but there was some nasty talk in there, some not, you know, appropriate talk in there. And that was really the moment that we decided, you know, we got to get this kid his own little texting machine. I want to say it was, you know, child safety, but it was really, I can't have my kid knowing what my wife says to me, which nasty shit. You think Cuddles is, you know, but nasty. Sometimes I have to delete our text thread because I'm just like, I don't even want the government seeing this. I just delete that shit right away. Big change coming to Starbucks. They're bringing back remember when they used to have the milk out and you could pour your own milk? You could do the milk yourself? Bringing it back. You probably didn't even know it was missing, but it's been gone since COVID. And now they decided that they're going to, you know, pop it back in. The new CEO, this guy's changing all the rules. He's doing all this crazy shit. And, you know, he's like, we're going to bring this thing back. We're going to make it happen. And so they are. And people are like thrilled. People were like, yeah, I need to add my own milk. People are so particular with their coffee. You ever notice that? It's one of those things. You could literally do, some crazy fucked up shit to people. You back into their car, they'll be like, it's okay. You blow a stop sign and hit them or whatever. Are you okay? Are you safe? You put a little extra milk in that coffee and they're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? People are so insane when it comes to coffee. And you got to get people want to put their own coffee into people are weird. People want to put their own coffee into the thing. They're bringing this back, Starbucks. People are like thrilled. They're like, shit, yeah. Put my own coffee. I can put my own sugar. I can make it happen. Right now, you got to ask the barista for more coffee or more sugar or whatever. That slows them down from making the next drink. So he's basically saying this is an efficiency thing. We're going to put the thing back out there. People are going to be able to pour their own milk. Everybody's thrilled. Everybody is absolutely thrilled. So this fucking Starbucks CEO, this is the guy who came from Chipotle, and everybody hated Chipotle, but he made Chipotle a wild success, and now he's doing it again with Starbucks. He's taken away like the BOGO deals because, again, he says it slows down the baristas. Nobody's upset at that even. They're like, oh, I got to pay full price for my drink, and I don't get a second one for free. And he's like, yeah, but you'll get your coffee 3.5 seconds faster. And people are like, okay, all right, fair deal. That seems fair. As long as I don't have to go to Staten Island for the coffee, I'll pay whatever. I'll pay whatever we have to. It's nuts. I have to make a confession. I'm not proud of this. But I've been getting McDonald's coffee lately, okay? I've been getting McDonald's coffee. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about things that we're not so proud of, right? Can't always be here's what I think and there's no consequences for ants. Sometimes we need a confessional. Sometimes we have to tell people when we've done something wrong in our lives. We have to tell people when we've been less than stellar. We have to tell people when we've been shitty. Here's one of those moments for me. I have to tell you, I have been going to McDonald's for coffee, okay? There's reasons why. I'm not proud, but here's the predicament. Carlos and I sat down and did a little financial planning. And we determined that when I leave the studio here, when I leave my little workplace and go out and get my little lunches, that shit can add up a little bit. Robin, thank you. Thank you, Robin. It's nice to know I'm in a safe place. I'm in the trust tree. I'm in the nest in the trust tree. As Will Ferrell once put it, or Will Ferrell's therapist in Old School. And then I took a look at how much, because here's the problem with the apps. So here's my problem. I got Dunkin' Donuts here. Okay. I got Starbucks here. And I got Hampton Coffee Company here. So these are my 3 local places. Now I love Hampton Coffee. A little expensive. A little much. And plus they do a lot of things better than Starbucks. Starbucks does 1 or 2 things better than Hampton Coffee. So I bounce around. Dunkin', I don't like their regular coffee. I like their lattes. I never liked McDonald's coffee. But McDonald's suddenly added a few years back espresso. And I, much like I do with Dunkin', sometimes instead of getting a latte at Dunkin', like if I don't want that much milk, I'll get a coffee, throw 2 shots of espresso in the coffee, and then I'll put a little splash of milk, and I got my little caffeine fix in the afternoon. Okay. I looked at what I'm spending on coffee. It's like $8 or $9 a day, which doesn't seem like a lot, but quickly turns into $50 a week, which quickly turns into $200 a month, which quickly turns into like $2,400 over the year, $600 over the year. And when you're spending $600 on coffee, and I'm kind of like, that seems like a lot, especially when we're about to go to Disney World. And like I said, be down $1,000 as soon as we open our eyes in the morning. As soon as I open my eyes, I'll realize, oh, I spent over $1,000 on this day already, and I haven't even gotten up to pee yet. So, because I require the espresso, it gets a little expensive. And the McDonald's, I don't know about nationwide, but right here is like, hey, everybody, 99 cents coffee. And I'm like, Perfect. Be still my heart. So I've been going in and getting my coffee, my McDonald's coffee. They have espresso. I throw 2 shots in there. And I'm like, I'm spending 99 cents plus the 2 shots and everything. It's like, comes out to like $3.25 for a delicious coffee. It's not a bad coffee. It's not Starbucks or Hampton Coffee Company, but it, you know, it gets me through the afternoon. Gets a podcast on the air, right? In the app, and Dunkin's like this too, you can get like you can say, I want like 2 things of vanilla. I want like 3 things of caramel flavoring. You get your flavors. You get your pumps. J-Sabs, long pumps only. I want 1 French vanilla and 1 caramel. Done. That's it. That's what I want. I think like 3 times. I've been there maybe 5 or 6 times in the last 2-3 weeks. 3 times I go see the person. They're back. They're like, they're putting like 90 fucking things. I'm like, just the 1. I'm like, I just need the 1. And then it happened again the second time. And then the third time, I'm like, I have to stop coming here because I can't be that person that's like telling people like, you're not making my coffee right. Oh my God. It felt like such a douchebag. But I'm like, I put it in the app, the 1. And, you know, I'm exactly the person I was complaining about a second ago. You screw up that coffee for somebody. But I like my coffee to taste like coffee. You know, it's got to get in there and taste like coffee a little bit. Anyway, coffee I got the other day was so hot it burned me. I enlisted Jackie Childs, my lawyer, and we're going to file a lawsuit. So I'm really excited about that, along with the Starbucks changes that are coming up. I am really, really excited about that. By the way, the Tyson-Logan Paul fight has not started yet, and I don't think it's going to start for another like 3 hours. With boxing, the main event is never on early enough. So for everybody who's waiting out that thing, they haven't started fighting yet. We're going to stay on well, and we're going to be done well before that fight even comes on here. Last topic of the night, last topic of the week. Hope you guys have had a good week with us. It's been great for us. How would you rate your marriage proposal? This new survey finds 39% of Americans give their marriage proposal an A+. A new study of 2,000 engaged or married Americans were asked to grade their engagement based on how successful they felt it went, which is interesting because that could be a different answer between the 2 parties. Results found that just 2 in 5 couples would give their engagement a perfect score, with the rest having some issues. Average respondent graded their engagement A-, but 29% said that their expectations were simply not met. 50% said they wouldn't change anything if they could do their proposal all over again. Results also showed that the average person would change 2 things about their proposal. I would change 1 thing about my proposal. I wouldn't be there. I would have made a left instead of making a right, and we wouldn't have been in this mess. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't need to feed these children. Am I right, Whoopi? So it begs the question for my engaged or married people, divorced people who are once engaged or married, are you happy with your proposal? Write in the chat. Yes, I'm happy. No, I'm not. I would have changed this. You got a good proposal story? Throw it in the live chat. Throw it in the comments. I always love a good proposal story. I'll give you one. Not mine. It's crazy that this study came out because I'm on TikTok this morning and I saw the biggest white trash proposal I have ever seen in my entire life. We are off and running in the live chat, by the way, with Rhonda, who says, wasn't the best. That is okay. Okay. And then Paul follows up with indecent proposal. DJ Shenanigans. Well, this is a nice subject if you're married. Yeah, if you're with your significant other and you can't talk right now, put a code word in. Put a code word into the chat. And I liked my proposal. Again, the only problem was I was there. I mean, that was the biggest, issue of the night. Proposal would have went smooth and great if I wasn't the one doing it. Would have also probably guaranteed a yes, Anyway, I'm on the TikToks, and I'm not talking down to white trash folks. I'm not. I'm just saying there was a lot of tattoos, and it appeared to be south of the Mason-Dixon line, and it also appeared to be attached to a trailer park. Now, again, listen, if you live in a trailer, and there's nothing wrong with that. I had an aunt that lived in a trailer. It was also the Staten Island aunt. But there's nothing wrong with living in a trailer. It's perfectly fine. Where I have the issue is in the behavior, and let me explain. This guy, really skinny dude, he knocks on the door, and girl opens the door, and he grabs her hand, and she's not excited to see him. If you're in that I might be getting proposed to stage, you pretty much are throwing your arms around the other person when they walk in the door, and they also walk in the door. He stayed outside the door. And he says, I want to ask you a very serious question. Now, the person filming is also a female. I don't know who she is. Friend, sibling, friend of the guy, friend of the girl. I don't know. Again, lots of tattoos. He is also, I believe, in jeans or sweatpants. Okay. Not to say that you have to be in a tuxedo. I think I was in jeans when I proposed, but I'm just saying one of those guinea t-shirts, with the thing, people used to call them wife beaters. Trucker hat, lots of tattoos, like tattoos, not like, oh, I got a sleeve. No, like tattoos. Okay, her equal amount of tattoo. Okay, and not like she's like almost kind of like shying away from him. And he goes, I have a very serious question. So obviously this is a proposal, and her response, he's like, I'm trying to propose to you, and her response is, which of the 37 girls you're seeing. Okay. So therein lies the white trash label. You can't, when you're a part of the proposal story shouldn't be, and she fired back with, well, are you sure you want to propose to me or the other 37 girls you're sleeping with at the moment? That's usually not part of the proposal diagram story. Okay. That's usually not part of it. But that was part of this particular proposal. And you might be thinking, Aunt, that's not necessarily white trashy. She followed that up by saying yes. Okay. So let me just tell you, there's nothing crazier than you being like, well, actually, I think you're cheating on me, than going, sure, let's get married. And they hugged and kissed, and I thought that's going to be some fucking wedding. I'm also on that side, but I was just saying to my wife, I'm on the best side of TikTok right now because my TikTok is filled with nothing but kid laughing videos, kids messing around with dogs, and dogs like falling and messing around with each other. I watched a dog. He was at his bowl. We were looking at his butt, and this other dog was looking at the camera, and the dog turned around and saw that the other dog was eating first. And the dog literally took his nose and swept the legs out from underneath the dog, that the dog fell backwards and like fell over. It looked like fucking final scene of Karate Kid, sweep the leg, Johnny. And that he just took that dog right out. I was like, I didn't even know dogs could do that. I didn't even know dogs could do that. Anyway, I'm on a great side of TikTok, but I'm also on the side of TikTok of like really crazy, strange, trashy weddings where like the bride's dad walks in with, again, a trucker hat and maybe a shirt that has a Confederate flag on it. And, she's like yelling at people, like walking down the aisle. And, people are like, you can hear people whispering, like, I don't think this is going to happen. It's like coming clear through camera, I'm on that TikTok too for some reason. I'm just that's where my algorithm is at the moment. So let me see here. It looks like we might be getting some proposal stories, and I don't want to miss any good proposal stories. Oh, hold on here. Lisa Lee Blue. I actually know many people who prefer McDonald's coffee. I know people who will only buy the McDonald's Keurig cups. Well, Lisa, you're going to have to send me their emails because, we're going to start a support group. People who have McDonald's coffee and are proud of it. I didn't know that was something you could be proud of. That's amazing. I got to tell you, this is just as good as Dunkin' Donuts. If you ask me, it's just as good as Dunkin' Donuts. I never thought McDonald's coffee was great, but I don't know. Again, I still think Starbucks is, well, I got Hampton Coffee around here. I don't know what you guys have, but I'm sure you have like that killer coffee place near your house that's just like way better than all the national chains. Anyway, let's go over to this proposal story from Lisa. I had such a beautiful proposal and a wonderful engagement party, but I was 20. Why the hell did my parents think that was cool? Shaking my head. My sis got married at 19 and still married though. So yeah, you hear a story like that and you go, why would her parents let her get married at a young age? And then I think to myself, well, I'm a parent. Would I do that? And the answer is yes, I would. Whatever I could do to get those people away from me as fast as possible. And by those people, I mean my 2 children. Wait, let me whisper that because I don't want my kid hearing me. Whatever I could do to get those people, I would just be like, my child is 9. I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old. And if both of them tomorrow met a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, like for instance, somebody in their class, and they said, I'm going to get married, I would be like, let's call a lawyer and see how we could actually genuinely make this work. Because if that means you're moving out, that would be great. Then you have my blessing. All right, I feel like I'm really losing it. I feel like I just see like Robin talking to his wife going, yeah, I don't know. And then he was talking about marrying off his 9-year-old. I really think Aunt needs help. That's just the thing that I saw in my head just now. And I thought I might have to pull it back a little bit. Feels like it's becoming a little, was that too far? That I'm like, yeah, will you live with their parents? Will they have to take you to school and feed you? Then yes, go ahead. You have my blessing. Am I going to be happy, Dad? Am I going to be married forever? Yeah, sure. I don't know. Sure. Whatever. I'm sure it'll be fine. My all joking aside, my biggest fear though is hating their significant other. That's my biggest fear right now is just, I don't know if everybody feels this way. If you're a parent, please write me. I need your help. At 9 and 7, I really, not that they don't have things, obviously, they got kid stuff they got to clean up. They don't listen, they got all that stuff. But I fucking love those kids. Like, I love the people they are becoming. My son has wanted something for the last 2 weeks. He has been he's been on me more than Paul. Okay. He has been there more than Paul in the comment section. And the other day and even yesterday and even just like 2 hours ago, I was like, I'm going to bend. I'm going to get him the thing. I told him I wouldn't do it, cause I'm like, it's Christmas, Santa's coming soon. It's weird. Santa doesn't like it when parents buy stuff and then he doesn't have things to make you and bring you. And, I'm giving him I'm shooting him straight. I'm giving it to him straight. And he's just all over me. But I love that about him. Like, I love his persistence. Kid sounds great. Paul, if somebody comments on your comment, like, oh, I agree, this guy is good, makes a good point, check and see if the name is Michael D, because then you'll know my son's following you. He's been like, this Paul is good. I like him. You tell him, Paul. Also ask him for a Matchbox car for me if you don't mind. That's gonna be That's going to be my son and Paul in like 5 days. My son said something the other day. He was like trying to outsmart me, and he did. And I had to hug him. I hugged, like I had nothing but I'm your father. That's why, it was just like he beat me in the game of parent kid chess. He's crushing me and my wife, and Cuddles too, for that matter, and I'm just so proud of him. And my daughter just doesn't take, she's just as sassy as her mother, and I love her for it. So I love the people that they are and that they are becoming. And I'm like, what if some fucking asshole comes in here and just treats them so shittily, and I'm terrified. I am terrified. Because I'm at that age too where I've said a lot of really crazy things, and I have never been one to shy away from not confrontation, but like if I think about you in a certain way, or if I think something about a topic in a certain way, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for anybody. And I don't care how you feel about it or what you think. That has always been my way. But I've noticed that with age, I'm kind of going, I'm going to let that one go. I'm just tired. It's not like I'm afraid, but I've gone to it's not worth the aggravation that this is going to cause. Telling my daughter or son I don't like their significant other that has come into their life feels like one of those moments where I'm not going to have a problem holding back, no matter how much anguish it shows. But I wonder, am I going to feel that way in 10 years from now, when they start dating, or hopefully 25 years from now when they start dating? Am I going to feel that way, or am I going to be more tired and let it slide? I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Let me see. I think there was another good proposal story in here. I want to make sure I didn't miss it. If I missed one, if I didn't read yours, please repost it. Oh, here, look at Lisa. Let me tell you something, Lisa. I was once engaged, but dodged that bullet, and a few others. I got my daughter, and I will no longer be playing Russian roulette. Single as fuck forevermore. I got to tell you something, Lisa. There might be something about you. You might be great, because several proposals, I think you got something going. I don't know what it is. I think you got something going for you. I've had 0 proposals. I've only made one, and I feel like I just barely got it. Just barely got it. But I can't imagine more than one proposal. How many people, men getting proposed? Well, first of all, men rarely get proposed to, right? But I can't imagine a man, like the amount of women who have been, like the ratio of women being proposed to versus men. What would you put that at? 100 to 1? 500 to 1? 1,000,000 to 1? Like there'll be 1,000,000 women which have more than one proposal to every man who's had more than one proposal. Because straight men don't get proposed to. They get pressured into proposing. Gay men now, okay, now you got a man getting proposed to, but put that against all the women, straight, gay, trans, whatever, right? They're all getting proposed to. Is astronomical. Give me a number. It's got to be 1,000,000 to 1. Has to be. Well, anyway, if you're getting proposed to more than once, good for you. Because that's amazing. That is really amazing. I know I'm missing like a bunch of other proposal things here. I don't know. Your son is on the other side of the wall right now with a cup to his ear and one hand in the middle. He's like, Dad, what were you saying about me? I'm like, nothing. He's like, I heard my name. Heard you say my name, And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, yeah, you were on that conference call. You were on that call. He calls us a call. He's like, you're on that call. I'm like, uh-oh. Neil, we have a coffee shop in my town called Badass Coffee. They're not lying. It was like a cup of mine. Damn, that sounds good. You know who I love? Favorite coffee of all time? Gregory's coffee. If you have a Gregory's coffee, Google Gregory's coffee. I'm sure there's a million Gregory's, but this is a chain, and the two coffee cups look like the guy's got like glass. It's like a guy's face, like glasses, but his coffee cup handles are like his ears, and the coffee cups are like his glasses. That's the logo. Gregory's. Fucking amazing. Amazing. So good. What is happening? Watching boxing on Netflix? So it's not gay to dress up like that? I thought boxing was super straight as you can get. I don't even know what's happening. I love it when the chat runs away from the show, though. That's my favorite. Iron Mike is into the building. And Pink? Pink is there? Is Pink at the fight? Is he wearing pink? Or is Pink the singer there? I accidentally got married on Halloween in 2002, 7 years total. All right, Lindarella, that's how do you accidentally get married? What did you trip and fall into the fucking dress? I fell into the dress and then tumbled in front of the priest and said I do. It was amazing. I got to know that story. Tell him you're talking to Santa. Yeah. Well, I told him, he asked for something and I didn't know if I wanted him to have it. So I said, Santa doesn't bring gifts that parents don't let him bring. Now he's like, well, fuck, I still want, like, that didn't deter him from wanting the gift, which I love. Like, I love that he's like, I hear what you're saying, Dad. I just don't give a shit. You know, it just doesn't matter to me. It's inconsequential. I need the gift, you know? And how could you not love that? Diane got married in Vegas 48 years ago, and my husband's best friends, two of them came with us. They picked a titty bar to celebrate. I'm laughing just by the way you tell that story. They picked a titty bar, like not a strip club. Strip club wouldn't be funny. Titty club, oh, titty bar. I'm sorry. That's funny. That is funny. They picked a strip club. You're like, whatever. They picked a titty bar. That's just good comedy. That's good comedy. Yeah, is Tyson in a pink dress? He's in a pink dress? Oh, my God. What is Mike Tyson doing? I think Tyson is going to get his ass kicked. Thank you, DJ Shenanigans. You're saying the same thing. Tyson KO'd in round 3. Let me tell you something. Tyson, they had their little press conference, and I think it was most of these things are prearranged. They had their little press conference, and Tyson slapped him, Logan Paul. I think Logan Paul knew he was going to slap him, so he didn't go down. But when I saw that slap and Logan Paul really not move, I'm like, well, if Tyson can't hurt him with a slap, that was supposed to be a surprise. I don't have much faith that he's going to fare that much better in the fucking fight. You know, because if he didn't stumble, he went like this, obviously, but didn't stumble, didn't get thrown off guard, didn't like have any, you know, was totally like, I was like, that didn't hurt him the way it should have hurt him. It was an open fist. It wasn't like a punch, but still, it was a, you know, he made contact. It was a slap-a-rooski. And Logan Paul didn't go down or move or anything. So I was just like, shit. I don't know how well Mike Tyson is going to fare here. You know, it could be a problem for him, and I think it's going to be. So Iron Mike could fight. That guy can throw a fist. I mean, I think he's got a shot. I mean, it feels like a thing that could go either way. I don't know, though. Age is a factor, man. Age is a factor, especially if this fight winds up going a fair distance, like a long period of time. You know, I think it's going to be a problem. And I got my Netflix up. I'm trying to find the part where he walks into the the building here. Oh, there's the title battle. Oh, so this might be coming up soon. All right, this is great. This is just as we're wrapping up. And I tell you what, I love everybody right now. Logan Paul's just talking on mic, so everybody's throwing their thing in. Oh, Robin doesn't have Netflix. Shit. Can somebody share a code on Discord? Robin's on our Discord. If you got a code, can you direct message on Discord? Somebody DM Robin a code. Help a guy out here with all the laughs that Robin has given you. I mean, it's got to be 100 Robin laughs to every podcast host. I think it's the same ratio of proposals, 1,000,000 to 1. Don't put it in public here in the live chat. If you get on the Discord, shoot Robin a DM if you could do that. Let's get him a code. Let's get him a login for the night. And then you change your shit tomorrow. You know what? I swear to God, I would trust Robin with my login, though. I would trust him that he would never log in again after I gave it to him for a one-time only deal. It could be tricky to share logins. We were sharing logins with my parents down in Florida, and Netflix got onto us. They were like, "Oh, we noticed a little bit of little difference here in zip codes. What's going on here?" And got to the point where it stopped working. We had to fucking change it. Oh, there might be a women's bout before. Oh, so they're not even ready. There's a women's bout coming up before Logan Paul Tyson. You dude, you're another hour. We're an hour away. We're still an hour away from that fight. They can't get these boxing matches on before 11:30 at night on the East. That building is packed, though. They're doing it where the Cowboys are playing. I was going to start to read. Let me see here. Rhonda, do I think the slap was planned? I do. Yeah, I do. They've been together on this all. They know this is just a big payday. These guys don't have a problem with each other. You know, this was a big, this is a chance to get a big payday, and they know how to promote. There's no way. I bet you it was Logan's idea. You know, there's no way. They're trying to get the press for it because there was buzz originally, and then it really kind of calmed down. It really started picking up again a little bit lately. But this fight got messed up when they started with the original rules, which were you can't hit in the face. Once people heard that, they were like, fuck this, it's bullshit. Now they got rid of that. It's a full-on regular boxing match, except for it's 2 minutes a round instead of 3, and it's only 8 rounds instead of 12. So some disparate, and they're 14-ounce gloves, which, you know, but for the most part, they got hurt by that, and people thought it was like, whatever. So I think they've been trying to get back and promote it as much as they can, and I think the slap was planned. Most of those things are planned. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're genuinely kind of happens, but the way this one happened, he just walked up and it kind of happened immediately without any sort of provocation. It was just, I'm calling it was worked out ahead of time. Bird doesn't think it's going to go to round 3. Let me see here. Flying Y says Logan Paul KO second round. That Logan's going to get knocked out. I really hope Tyson doesn't lose, but I think he is just collecting a bag. Tyson is backstage trying on a bias cut silk Tom Ford and a sequined vintage Bob Mackie cocktail dress. I don't think I read that as well as I should have. If it goes past 3 rounds, Tyson might be in trouble. I agree. Paul makes a good point. Round 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. If Tyson gets him right, I mean, Tyson could put that kid on his ass. He could. I think he still could. I know the slap was weak. I think Tyson, he's got to catch it right. He's got to catch it right because Logan Paul could box. I mean, he's no slouch. You know, he knows what he's doing. If Tyson gets lucky and catches him right, he could end the fight early. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I think it is going to go long, and I think it's going to be worse the longer it goes for Tyson. You know, Jake Paul says he's been waiting for this his entire life. That's crazy. Bird needs a code, too. Okay, DM Bird, too, if we can get a code over there, if we can get a password over there, that would be delightful. DJ says you can't share it anymore. Is that right? You know what, guys? Go on TikTok. People stream shit on TikTok now. You know, it's hard to stop that kind of stuff. Audrey says I share my Netflix, and so do a few people I know. Sometimes they get cut off, and sometimes they go back on. Okay. If you want to take the risk with Robin or Bird, DM them on our Discord. Link to Discord is in the description of this episode below. If you're not already a member of our Discord, I think it's super easy to join. I don't know. I barely got in. I barely got there. They are both animals. Excited to see. Yeah, me too. I can't. I'm gonna, as soon as the pod ends, I'm gonna definitely watch it. So you know what? I'll jump into the Discord too. Maybe we'll keep our conversation rolling in the Discord, which is what the Discord is, by the way. For anybody who's not already a member, you can join right now. Link in the description below. We basically just keep the conversation going, after the show. That's kind of what the Discord has become. That's what we've been using it for. It's the conversation before and after every single show. It's just amongst us, so we can say, all the bad words like white trash, and Staten Island Bakery, those kinds of things. What a fun week. Great week. Been so liberating without Frankie C. Thank God we can finally be our MAGA selves, everybody. Am I right? We don't have to worry about Frankie C judging us. But Frankie C will be back next week. Hold on, I got a Discord message. Hang tight here. I see some people joining. All right. Pump that Discord up. Let's get Robin that code Bird one as well. We've got to go in order. I don't know if you guys want Robin, Bird. I don't want to put pressure. I don't know if you want to do ladies first, but Robin did call it first. I'm just saying, Robin called it first, so I have to give it to Robin. I think Robin should go first, and Bird should go next. Throw some codes. I'll jump in. I guess we'll do it in the general chat there, and we'll watch the fight together. Everybody have a lovely weekend. I'll see you back here on Monday.
Show me potato salad. Maybe we should go now.